Sweetgreen is trying to do something that would make most restaurant owners extremely uncomfortable. They're trying to run kitchens with fewer humans. Yeah, that sentence alone sounds risky because restaurants run on people. But here's the problem. People are also the most unpredictable part of the system. In this industry, turnover can hit 100 to 120% per year. Labor takes up 25 to 35% of revenue, and one bad shift can ruin your entire day. You've seen it. Someone calls in sick, a new hire is on their second shift during lunch rush, the line slows down, orders pile up, customers get frustrated, reviews drop. All because your system depends on humans being consistent in an environment where consistency is almost impossible. So instead of asking, how do we hire better, Sweetgreen asked a much bigger question. What if we didn't have to rely on people as much at all? So they spent millions building automated kitchens. They bought a robotics company. They're testing assembly lines for bowls. They're trying to turn food into something you can program. And if this works, this changes how restaurants scale. Lesson 1. Scale doesn't fix problems. It multiplies them. Here's how most people think growth works. Open more locations, make more money. Simple. Here's how it actually works. Every time Sweetgreen opens a new store, they don't just add revenue, they add variables. New team, new manager, new execution, and slowly things start to drift. One store gives a little more protein. Another rushes during peak and cuts corners. Another manager runs things differently. Individually, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but across dozens of stores, that's where it gets expensive. Even top restaurant chains see 5 to 15% variation in portioning between locations. That means one Sweetgreen is perfectly on target and another is quietly losing margin every single day. Now multiply that across 50 or 100 stores. That's not a small inefficiency. That's millions in lost profit and inconsistent customer experience. So Sweetgreen didn't just see a growth problem. They saw a control problem. Because if every store feels slightly different, you don't have a brand, you have a gamble. Lesson 2. Most restaurants are leaking money without knowing it. Here's where it gets a little scary. Restaurants don't usually lose money in big, obvious ways. They lose it in small, boring ways, over and over again. Sweetgreen started looking at something very simple. Portion sizes. Let's say an employee adds just 10 grams extra protein to a bowl. That feels like nothing. Customer's happy, looks generous. But now zoom out. Sweetgreen locations can push 200 to 400 bowls per day. At just 10 grams extra, that's 2 to 4 kilograms of product gone daily. Over a year, that's 700 to 1,400 kilograms lost per store. Now multiply that across dozens of locations. You're not talking about waste anymore. You're talking about millions in lost margin. And here's the craziest part, no one notices. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like normal operations. That's what makes it dangerous, because these tiny leaks scale silently. And Sweetgreen realized something most operators ignore. It's not the big mistakes that hurt you, it's the small ones, repeated thousands of times. Lesson 3. Speed is actually your revenue limit. Most people think speed is about convenience. Get food faster, keep customers happy. But for operators, speed is something else entirely. Speed is capacity. Let's say a Sweetgreen location serves 50 customers per hour. If they increase that to 65 customers per hour, that's a 30% increase in revenue capacity. Same rent, same location, same demand, just more output. Now here's the part most people miss. Peak hours like lunch can drive 50 to 70% of your daily revenue. So if your system slows down during peak, you're not just losing time, you're losing your most valuable sales window. And what causes that slowdown? New employees during rush, miscommunication on the line, bottlenecks at certain stations, human variability. Some shifts run perfectly, others fall apart. Sweetgreen is trying to eliminate that swing. Same speed, same output, no matter how busy it gets. That's not just efficiency, that's predictable revenue. Lesson 4. Sweetgreen isn't automating food, they're standardizing the business. Now here's where everything clicks together. Because up to this point, it might feel like Sweetgreen is just chasing efficiency. Better portions, faster speed, lower labor. But that's not the real play. The real problem they're solving is standardization. Think about this. Most restaurants operate like a people business, meaning the output depends on who's working that day. Good team, good day. Weak team, bad day. That's how most restaurants run. But Sweetgreen is trying to flip that completely. They're trying to build a system where the output doesn't depend on the person, the portion doesn't depend on the mood, the speed doesn't depend on the experience level. It's the same every single time. That's a completely different model. And if you zoom out, it starts to look less like a restaurant and more like software. Because in software, every user gets the same experience every time, at scale. That's what Sweetgreen is chasing. Not better workers, better systems. Because once your system is standardized, everything else becomes easier. Training becomes simpler, expansion becomes safer, margins become more predictable. And here's the part most people miss. Automation is just one way to get there. It's not the goal, it's the tool. This isn't really about robots. That's just what gets attention. What Sweetgreen is actually building is control. Control over portions, control over speed, control over consistency, control over cost. A system where every bowl is the same, every store performs the same, every shift feels the same. That's the dream in restaurants, and almost no one actually achieves it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If this works, it doesn't just make Sweetgreen better, it exposes how fragile most restaurant businesses actually are. Because right now, most operators think they're scaling, but what they're really doing is multiplying variables, more staff, more locations, more inconsistency. And over time, that gets harder and harder to control. The future of restaurants isn't just better food, it's better systems, more predictable, more controlled, less dependent on human variation. And whether or not robots fully take over kitchens, that shift is already happening. Because at the end of the day, the restaurants that win won't just be the most popular, they'll be the most consistent.